Officer Lawrence, do you recognize this piece of evidence?
Yes, I do.
Now, the defense counsel just showed you this evidence, Officer Lawrence, and they talked about how it was your scores. However, on the back of this, which the defense failed to point out, there are 2 instances of complaints and disciplinary action that were taken against you, were there not?
That's correct.
Now, according to your personal record, you have a history of complaints due to using excessive force. Do you use excessive force in those situations because you were upset?
I used it because I deemed it was necessary.
To use excessive force and break the law as an officer?
Not on my circumstances.
Officer Lawrence, I'd like to go on then. Going back to March 15th, is it true that you began to sweep of the aisles before the store closed at 10 p.m.?
That is correct.
You said that you came across Kim at 10 p.m., correct?
Yes.
You also stated upon direct order from your manager, if I see anyone in the aisles after the store's closing time, 10 p.m., I am to instruct them to leave. Is this correct?
That's true.
Officer Lawrence, did your manager ever tell you to physically escort customers out of the store?
No.
No. In fact, Your Honor, I'd like to introduce Plaintiff Exhibit B, the Shop Hall Security Guard Handbook. Officer Lawrence, do you recognize this handbook?
Yes.
Officer Lawrence, could you please point out to the court where in the security guard handbook it says to physically escort customers out?
It doesn't.
Can you please tell me where in the handbook it says to physically arrest customers who remain in the store after closing?
Doesn't.
So neither your manager nor the handbook gave you authorization to physically escort customers out of the store, yet you took it upon yourself to physically escort, in your own words, Kim out of the store, correct?
Correct.
Officer Lawrence, at what time during the arrest did you read Kim her Miranda rights?
I do not.
You did not. Could you please recite your Miranda rights to the court today?
You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to an attorney.
So you did not recite these to Kim Brooks whenever you arrested her?
I do not.
No further questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
I would like 2 questions.
I'll allow it.
Would you say you're a police officer or a security guard first?
I say I'm an officer.
When you see a crime on the street, would you arrest them when you're on duty?
I would.
No further questions. At this time, I would like to call up Stacy Camp.
I do.
Could you state your name for the court?
My name is Stacy Camp.
Where do you work?
I work as the manager of the shop hall.
Did you interview Officer Lawrence yourself?
I did.
What were your instructions to Officer Lawrence regarding closing?
We had a strict policy of making sure that all of the customers were out of the store by closing time, and he was to sweep the aisles to make sure to do that. I did tell him that he needed to be, we've had problems in the past with teenagers not wanting to leave, and so I did tell him to be forceful in getting anybody that needed to be taken out.
Okay. Would you say that she's done a good job with this?
Yes, yes.
Any questions?
Hi there, Ms. Camp. So, Ms. Camp, you were the manager at Shop Hall on March 15th for the incident, correct?
Correct.
Now, I had Officer Lawrence earlier read the handbook in which she could not find where it said to physically escort customers out. Please tell me where in your handbook as a manager it gives you permission to use excessive force to physically escort customers out of the store.
It does not say excessive force, but to be taken seriously, he could be forceful in his method of getting people out the
And so
door.
this is your word, not the actual rules that were given to him as
It does not,
security guard.
it does not explicitly say that in the handbook.
And so now, Ms. Camp, whenever Officer Lawrence is working for you, is he technically a police officer?
He is a security guard,
Security guard, so he's not on duty as a police officer.
not as a police officer.
And so despite what the defense wanted to say earlier about how a police officer works in a capacity, both situations, he was acting as a security guard and a security guard alone in this situation.
Yes.
And so now please tell me, Ms. Camp, your store worker, your clerk who was handling the situation that night, did they not receive a write-up from you for their actions that night?
Correct.
Why did you write them up?
Because she did not follow policy. She was well aware of the policy of making sure that there are no customers in line or back into the store, after the closing time.
And so just to clarify, it was your employee's fault that my client, Ms. Brooks, went back to the aisle.
She may not have, she probably didn't tell her. Well, it's pretty clear she did not tell her that she had to stay in line.
So your employee told my client that it was okay to go back to the aisle.
I don't know that she said it was okay. She just didn't tell her it was not okay.
Now tell me, your employee also locks the doors every evening, is this correct?
That is
In
correct.
fact, on this evening, she had to go and unlock the door to let 2 customers out of the store, correct?
That is correct.
So whenever Kim was in line being assaulted by Officer Lawrence, the doors were locked, correct?
That would be a correct assumption.
So tell me this, Ms. Camp, if I'm in your store and the doors are locked, how as a customer am I able to physically leave the store premises even if I wanted to, without your employee allowing me to do so?
You would be escorted by the security guard.
But the security guard, you just said a minute ago that your employee and the store cashier had to go and unlock the door, correct?
I'm not certain if she actually locked the door or not.
But we have your testimony saying that she had, and we also have in her testimony saying that she had unlocked the door, then went back, and then after she had relocked the door, and that's when the incident took place.
Okay, well, she may have locked the door just to make sure that there weren't any other people that came back inside.
So, just to clarify though, again, Ms. Camp, if I'm inside of your store and the doors are locked, by myself, my own powers, I physically can't leave that store.
No, but you could have walked up to the door to be ready to be let out.
Right, so you're saying like whenever Kim had mentioned that she was walking to the front of the store, it could be perceived then that she was trying to attempt to leave the store, in fact.
No, she went back to get,
Right, she went back to get the deodorant after your employee told her it was okay to do so.
She didn't tell
And then she had gone to the front of the store, which was towards the checkout aisle, correct? Walking through the checkout aisle, where her book bag was, to get this, was where she had excessive force used on her by Officer Lawrence and was apprehended. So could it be said then that she was walking towards the front of the store, and even if she had wanted to leave though, it would require your store employee to go and unlock the door for her?
it would require a store employee to unlock the door.
Thank you, no further questions, Your Honor.
2 questions. Would you say, with your knowledge of Officer Lawrence, would you say that if he assumed the intent of Brooks, the plaintiff, would you say that he would have let her out if her presumed intent was to leave?
Her
Objection, Your
intent was to-
Honor. The store manager cannot tell what the intent of Officer Lawrence was said if an incident were to happen. This is merely speculation on her part.
Further questions?
Vince? See what it is.
The defense would like to call the chief of police, Maria Rodriguez.
Please raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? And you please swear again.
Please state your name for the court.
Maria Rodriguez.
And what is your occupation?
I'm the chief of police.
And how long have you been working for the police department?
15 years as an officer and 5 as the chief.
Alright. So, in your opinion, since you have been doing this for a long time, and you would know Lawrence very well, would you classify Lawrence as a violent person?
No.
Would you say that Lawrence typically acts out in ways that are unjustified?
No, we've actually had courses that cover justification for things like this.
And how did she do in these courses?
She did very well.
All right. And would you believe that Lawrence is a good police officer?
She does the job, and she does it very well, and has always put in as much effort as she can.
All right. And during these courses that they took, the civil and criminal liability, authority and jurisdiction, use of force and evidence and arrest and legal update, did she complete them all?
She actually took an extra course that was not required.
So would you say that she is someone who wants to do her job the best possible?
Obviously, if you put in the effort to go above and beyond, you want to do the best you can.
And would you or would you not say that Officer Lawrence behaved according to sound police practices?
As best of my knowledge, yes.
And would you or would you not agree that if Lawrence was acting under the state of being a security guard and not a police officer, that Lawrence would not be the one responsible for reading the Miranda rights?
That is true.
No further questions.
Chief Rodriguez, where did you study criminal justice?
I studied it at the Rudy University, I believe.
That's the same university as Officer Lawrence, right?
Correct.
You and Officer Lawrence good friends,
I would say that we don't have issues with each other.
but would you say that you're friends?
I would say that we can be acquaintances.
You recruited Officer Lawrence yourself, didn't you, since he did it in the same university?
I recruit most of my employees, actually.
But you believe I said in your, if I go back to your testimony, you said that you did this because he'd gone to the same university you and was an exceptional student. Was this correct?
He was an exceptional student in both college and in the courses that the Metro City provides.
Chief Rodriguez, did you ever question Officer Lawrence about the incident that took place on March 15, 2005?
No, I followed through the police policy and whatever his statement said, I believe.
So you didn't actually physically question him yourself?
I don't need to.
Did you ever question the officers who arrived on the scene other than Officer Lawrence?
I've heard things from them. I did not question them exactly, but with their report of the accident, it has to be true according to the police policy that we follow.
Has to be true according to policy. So policies are never broken, and police officers can never be wrong. Is this correct?
There, I would like to say that, but there has been there's certain cases where things don't always work out, but for the most part,
So you just simply allow your officers, you base your judgment by putting trust into them and listening to whatever word they have to say.
I believe all of society puts their trust into police officers.
But you specifically, Chief Rodriguez, please answer the question. Are you impartial when it comes to your police officers and feel biased towards them?
Not biased without good reason.
So yes.
I am biased, but I have good reason and good support to back it up.
Chief, did you ever question Kim after the incident?
No.
So you questioned your officers, who you say that you have biased faith towards, but you never questioned the actual incident, the victim of the circumstance.
I did not need to with the police report. They did.
Why didn't you question Kim?
The job had already been done. I did not want to put her through more.
Why didn't Officer Lawrence or any of the other officers read Kim her Miranda rights?
Officer Lawrence was a security guard at the time, not an officer.
But I want to point something out, Chief Rodriguez.
Yes.
This is something the defense said earlier even. Whenever Officer Lawrence was in the store, he said it multiple times that she was trying to physically escort him out. Yet then she took it upon herself to
Objection,
arrest-
counsel is testifying
testifying,
to the fact.
simply pointing out the facts so that the witness can answer a question, Your Honor.
All allowed.
Officer Lawrence arrested Kim, took it upon herself to arrest Kim, not escort her out. And isn't it police procedure, you just stated, is always followed? Isn't it police procedure that whenever a citizen is arrested, they are read their Miranda rights?
By a police officer and not
So
a security
it's okay
guard.
for a security guard. If I were to arrest you right now, Officer Lawrence, or I'm sorry, Chief Rodriguez, I could arrest you and not have to read you your rights?
You're not a police officer.
It's funny how that works. Tell me, do you often arrest citizens without reading them their rights?
No.
No. But you did this in Kim's instance.
I did not. Are you accusing me of arresting her?
No, I'm accusing you and your department of not reading her rights after she was arrested. Because even despite the fact, whether or not Officer Lawrence, as you claim, was acting as a police officer as a security guard, your officers then did arrest her. Is this correct?
That is true.
Yet none of your officers read her Miranda rights, correct?
If there was a crime going on and it was stopping them or the person in the situation from committing that crime, the Miranda rights might have become an issue that did not come to the front of their minds
So
during
it's
that
okay to
incident.
violate rights so long as the police officers are be able to work as freely as they want. There's certain instances that you're saying it's justifiable to suppress a citizen's rights.